Alright, so I should wish you good evening right now because it's evening for me. It's 7:35 p.m. and for the entire day today, I'm recording, I'm going to meeting, I'm coming back and recording for you guys. So I feel that I'm not tired and I feel that I can shoot some more videos as well. So actually I'm talking from last 24 hours, isn't it? Yesterday I told you, right? I have started around 7:30 p.m. and it's almost going to be 24 hours, but still my simple CRUD application is not completed just because I talk a lot, right? But hopefully I'm passing the right information and I'm not making you guys bored. Anyhow, let me know if you are finding this information helpful or you just want me to code and complete the project. If I want to code, is going to be a 30 minutes work, but maybe 30 minutes work maximum, but I'm explaining step by step, so it's just taking me a while to complete. Okay, so just let me know in the comment section if you're finding it helpful. Anyhow, let's get started. So right now we are having this particular form, everything is done. We are kind of designed an add button for us, which is basically inserting the data, and obviously we are trying to paste all this data from the DB as well. So these things are also working fine. So now the next target, as I said, I'm going to introduce an update button here. Okay, so basically if I will go back to the spec, my requirement, where is my requirement? If I will go back to the keynote, just right here, let me show you something. Maybe this one. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce the link here, this link here, update link. Okay, so just right next to every student, we will be getting a update link. And what this update link is going to do, this update link, let's say this girl Aarti want to update her name, so you can just click on this link. Again, she is going to get the same form. You are seeing that? We whatever the form we have created during the time of insert, the same form she will be getting whenever she will try to update something. But only the difference here is during the time of insert, we used to show her a insert form. I mean a empty form. Insert form means what? The same form just like this, but that was an empty form. There was no preloaded data. But right now just see, whenever she is clicking on update, whatever the data are there, the same data are getting populated just right here. Okay, so this is her pre-inserted data. So right now he just can remove the name and can write the updated name just right here. Let's say she's adding the short name of her, let's say Aarti Mishra, and he is clicking on add, or she is clicking on add. Once he clicks on here, you can see the name changes to Aarti Mishra. And this is exactly what we need to do. So what is the game plan here? Can you tell me? Let me go step by step. Let me open up my requirement or wherever, my planning notepad, right? So here now the next goal here is update a student record. Okay, so this is the next game plan that we have to make. Okay, so first of all, we'll be kind of create a controller, isn't it? We should create a controller handler method, because we already have a controller. We can create another method just right there. So we'll be creating a controller handler method for update. Okay, so what will be that URL will look like? Maybe something update student or something just like that. So once basically, let's imagine something just right here. Okay, I'll be coming back to that. Okay, let's not complicate it. So we will basically create this particular link, update student. Okay, and whenever somebody is going to hit this one, we need to show him what? This is number one. Okay, number two is when somebody is going to hit this particular link, show him or show the user the add student form. Okay, make sure this is the same form that we used to show during the time of insert. Okay, show the user add form, but make sure right now while showing it, we'll be showing her or we are going to showing the user, we'll be showing the user the pre-populated data. Okay, so show the user the add form. So this particular controller handler method to return during the time of insert, we wish to return this particular page, isn't it? So we wish to return the same page here. We should be returning the same page just right here as well. Okay, so show the user the R student form. So whenever somebody is going to click on this, we'll be showing them this particular page. But tell me one thing, when somebody is going to hit this link, obviously, if I'll go to the requirement again, if I'll go to that keynote, where is that keynote? Okay, just right here we have to give a link, isn't it? So this is which page? This is our home page, right? Our the main page where basically we are displaying all the students. Here only we have to give a link. Okay, so whenever he clicks on that link, that should navigate the user to update student URL. Okay, so right now we have to introduce a link here, and this link we should make it just right here in the home page itself. Let me go back to Eclipse for a moment. So whenever this is the page I'm looking for, this is /show student, isn't it? So for this I'm returning student list page, isn't it? This is the page. So here only we need to introduce the link so that there should be a link will be available just right here after each student. After each student, I can give a update link just right here. Okay, so just introduce a update link inside the student list. So that should be in our game plan, right? Before doing all this thing, the first work here is modify the student list page and show a update link next to each student. Okay, that is the thing that we need to do. So this is the thing we will be doing first. Okay, so now let me go back to Eclipse and let me do this thing first. So let me go back to Eclipse. So obviously this page is this one, so let me open that, and also let me close all the other things that I don't need. So right here, so these are the table header, the ID, name, mobile and country, and the ID, name, mobile and country. So right here, what I'm gonna do, I am going to create another TD here. Okay, so this TD for each time the loop is going to be iterate over this particular student's item. Obviously, I'm going to show the user ID, name, mobile, country, and here I want to show him something else. So for each student, I want to show him a update link. Okay, so update link. So I should be say a link, how to create a link. Obviously I will be creating an anchor tag, and in between this anchor tag I will copy paste this update, and there you go. And right now the anchor tag, whenever I'll click this update, this should take me to href, and here I should give the link where it should take me. But right now, for now, let me say it hash. So this is what I have done. Let me do Control S, let me go there, let me refresh it, and see I have an update link next to each student. Okay, that's why I have put that link inside the for loop itself. So each time the for loop is going to be executed, for each student will have a update link. But right now, if we'll go here and if we'll click the update link, obviously it will not work. So see, it is navigating to hash because this is the one that I have specified there. So hash means nothing. Okay, I have not given an update link so far. So I'm going to do what? I am going to update. I just want to send the user to a update page. Okay, so basically I'm going to show him the same insert page whenever he is going to click on that update button. So what is that URL that I need to fire right now? So let me say update student, and obviously the page context name. The page context name is, the context path is this one. Let me hard code it for now, and I will change it later. So let me copy this. Copy that, go back to student list, paste it just right here, and there you go. So whenever somebody is going to click on update, it should navigate to here. So let me do Control S, let me go back here, let me do a refresh. and let me click on update on Abhilash, and boom, it is navigating to me to this particular link. Now this is the link right now I have to handle, and I have to show the user a page, a web page. Okay, so what is the page I need to show? Obviously I told you we are going to show the user the same add_student.jsp page. Okay, so let me go ahead and do it. So now let me go to the student controller, and right now I need to handle this particular link. So first of all, let me copy a get method. I can copy this, Control C, and I'll do a Control V just right here, and I will replace the link to this, Control X, Control V just right here, and here I'll say update student. And obviously I'll forget about model for now. We'll see whenever we'll have the problem. At that time only we will send the model. Okay, right now this is what we need to do. Let me terminate the debugging, because last time I debugged, I have not turned it off. So anyhow, this is the thing that we want, isn't it? So basically it's ready right now. Whenever the user is going to click on update, this is the link will be fired, and I'm going to show him or show her the add student page. So let's see whether that is working right now. Let me do Command S, and right now if I'll go to here, let me go back, let me do refresh. Okay, my server is not started. Let me start my server, and we'll see what is happening right now. So the server has started. Let me refresh the page. Let me first try the add. The add is working fine. Let me say Abhipsa. Mobile number is something. Country is India. And I'll say submit. Okay, Abhipsa has been added to here. That's perfect. Right now I want to update Abhipsa. Let's say I want to update her title to Panigrahi because Abhipsa is my sister. So I will click on update here, and boom, we are getting an error. Okay, why we're getting that error? I want you guys to understand this error. Okay, why we're getting it? So it looks like we have a problem here in the JSP page. Okay, so the JSP page is basically add student.jsp. We are not having any problem whenever we are trying to click on add here. We are able to see the page. So what happens once I click on update? This is navigating to the update student page, and the update student here, it is returning the add student again. But why it is giving me problem? Why I'm getting an internal server error? Oh, it is saying that there is some problem in the JSP, and the JSP is this. Looks like this path is creating problem, isn't it? I'm just trying to give you a hint. You need to reply me. Why I'm getting a problem in the JSP? Well, let's go ahead and read the error. So you should be pretty much able to understand the error by reading it. Okay, so try to read the error. So we are getting an illegal state exception in the JSP page, and it is saying neither binding result or the plain target object for the bean name student available as a request attribute. Maybe my JSP page is expecting something as a request attribute, a bean, an object it is expecting, and the object name is student, and that's what it is not finding in the JSP page whenever the request is going to the JSP page. So what's that? What do you mean by that? So let's see that. I'll go to my student controller. I'll go to my add student. So here, if I'll go to add student, now here it is not finding something. What it is not finding? Let me go back to there, or let me see the console. Let me double click it. Let me go to the console. So it is saying neither the binding result nor the plain target object for bean name student is available for the request attribute. Let me copy that, and let me basically go to my JSP page, and let me do Control F and Control V, and let me see where basically I'm using the student. So if I'll do a find here, let me see where is the match. There is a match here. I want to see where else I have student. I'll do find again, and there you go. There is a match. Okay, so we have a save student here. Okay, this is a URL. Let's see where else I have student. Find again, and okay, that's a perfect match. That's an exact match of student, and maybe this guy is causing us the problem. Model attribute of student. Well, it is expecting a model attribute when the form is going to be shown, isn't it? So that it can, if there is any default data is available for a student object, it can read it, and it is going to bind that data, the mobile, the country, the name, and everything with that form during the time of load it. Okay, so the Spring form basically need a model attribute, and this attribute we should be sending from the backend, from the controller. And this guy right now, this student, we are not sending it, and that's why we are having this particular problem. And Spring MVC, basically the Spring framework is basically not able to load that particular form. Okay, and it is saying that, hey, that object is not available. The object, the bean student, is not available because you are not sending it. Yes, that is correct, because from the controller here, whenever we are going to add student, we are not sending it. If you remember, while we are basically doing a simple in short, when we're simply clicking on add here, basically we're doing a simple add here. Okay, so our student page here, at that time we are creating a student object, and then that student object right now I'm sending it to the our student page. So by attaching it with a model attribute called student, right? The same thing I have to do here. So I have to do what? I have to create a student object. I'll say student equal to new student. And basically I need to do what? I need to attach this student with a model. I should say model, and I should attach this one model dot add attribute, and the attribute name is going to be whatever is there inside the JSP page. Okay, which one? This one. Okay, so here the attribute name is student. So make sure you are going to give the attribute name same as here. So this is going to be my attribute name, and obviously this one can be anything, but here I have given a name as student, so I'll be copying it, I'll be pasting it just right here. If you're getting confused, you can give it my student or something, and this is going to be the actual object that I'll be sending just right here. Do a semicolon, command S, go there and do a refresh, and that should fix the issue. See, we are getting the value. Now go back and do a refresh, click on update. Well, I'm getting the R student page. Go there, click on add, I'm getting the R student page. Now again, go there, click on any of the object, I'm getting that page back. Cool. So right now I'm not at all getting an exception because of I am sending this attribute from the backend. So my form is basically reading it. And basically guys, I can make it kind of shorter, and I can basically format this 2 or 3 lines of code to a single line. I also told you about that. I should not use model. I can use simply at model attribute. I can write this one, and my attribute name, whatever I'm giving, this is going to be my model attribute name. I can pass it just right here. And student, new student, here I'm creating the object by myself. Just here I just need to do what? I will say, okay, student, and there we go. I don't have to do anything. Right now Spring will create the student object, and it is going to make it available inside this particular page by giving it a attribute name, or by giving it a model attribute name called student. The way you are doing this code, the same code I have written here in one line, and I hope you guys understand it because I have covered it completely in your Spring MVC intermediate course. So let me remove it right now. Let me do Control S, and let me see whether this particular code is going to run or not, because this looks a little more easy, a little more polished, and I feel really comfortable reading this particular code. So that means a student object will be created. Here I am not writing new student because Spring will create the object of this, and it will also going to make it available right here in this particular page by giving it a model attribute name called student. All right, so there we go. So right now hopefully my reloading has been completed, isn't it? Yeah, reloading is completed. So now let me go there and let me retest it. Let me refresh the page. Let me click on update, and it's working good. So right now one assignment is done. But hold on, there is a very simple problem here. Not a simple problem, there is a problem here. There is a very huge problem here, and we have to fix it. So what's the problem? I hope you guys have already figured it out. So the problem here is, let's say this girl Anu want to update her address to UK to India, or he want or or she want to update her name to something else. Okay, so how she is going to do that? Obviously she will be clicking on update. Whenever she will click on update, the user should expect that whatever the data she has given previously, that data should be pre-populated here on this particular form, isn't it? But right now the data are not coming. The mobile is 0 right now, just because of that POJO, because behind the scene the student object that we are using, the mobile is long. Okay, let me change it to a long. Okay, and also let me I also need to where is that? Right now this should work, right? Long. Even the getter and setter I need to change, but I think this is going to work fine because it will be automatically casted. So let me see whether it is fixing the defect. I mean fixing that issue, the 0 issue, because the long default type is obviously null. So let me see that. Let me go there, refresh the page. Oh, okay, it didn't work. You can see we are getting an error for the path mobile. So let me go back to student.java. Let me remove that mobile, get mobile and set mobile. Let me remove this, and I want to generate that particular one again. Let me do control 1, create getter and setters, and I am going to generate the getter and setter, and I'm going to get it just before the set country, and I'll say okay. So right now, just after the set country. So this is my new getter and setter. The data type here is long, and obviously I want to generate the toString again. Let me do that once again as well. So I'll do right click, source, generate a toString, go there and generate the toString, and there you go. I have one more toString. Let me do control S, and my program will be reloaded again, and right now hopefully I will not see any issue. And obviously you can see for the mobile the default value is gone, right? I'm not getting any default value for this. So everything is working pretty perfect, but only the thing is right now the data are not getting pre-populated what I am expecting. That's the actual difference between an update form and an insert form. So whenever you do insert, that's fine. We are going to get an empty form because we will be inserting a new student. But whenever we will click on update, we expect that if I click on update of Aarti, then all the Aarti related data should be pre-populated here, what is not happening right now. So let's fix it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's debug for the issue that why we are not getting the data here pre-populated whenever we are clicking on the update link. For an example, if you do a refresh, if I want to update so this record, if I click on update, well, so this data are not here, and why it is happening. Okay, so first of all, tell me whenever we are clicking on a link, basically where it is navigating. So see here, let's refresh the page. Our link is this, show student for this page. Let's say I want to update Avilash country to India. I'll click on update and it is going to update student. Okay, let me go to that update student link. Let me copy that. Let me go to the controller. Obviously the update student is this one. I don't need to search for this. Just see what is happening here. We are sending an object. This is an empty object. Obviously Spring will create an empty student object, isn't it? If it is going to create an empty student object, then that student object will be going to this particular page and will be available as a model attribute called student. Hold on. Right now, if I'll go to our student, obviously this student that I have for this form, the source is this. This is what is going to contain my student object. And well, I am sending an empty object here. So how I can expect the data right there in the form? Right now, this particular path, mobile, country, name, we will read the data from this particular object, which is basically, if we'll go to your controller, which is this object. And this is just a normal plain empty object. It's just an object that we're creating and we are sending it to here. That's why while reading the data, it is just trying to display all the default value of mobile, country, and name. And obviously, if I'll go to controller, if I'll go to student, all the default value of the name is going to be null. The default value of mobile is going to be null. The default value of country is going to be null because it's string, long, string. The default value of this guy is going to be null. So obviously there is nothing there in this particular text box. So rather sending an empty object just right here, just like this, rather sending an empty object, we should send an actual object. Okay, we should send an actual student object for a click. For an example, if I'm going to click on Abhilash, if I click on update, then I should display Abhilash object here. If I click on Aarti, then I should display Aarti object here. Now, if I am going to click on Sudhir, I need to display Sudhir object here. Then how I'm going to do it? That's the topic. That's the thing that we need to think about. So think about it. When we click on something here, what we can do so that we can show the result here. Okay, so that we can basically pull the object information for a particular student with whom we are clicking the update button. Let's say for Abhipsa, I'm clicking the update button. Now, once I click the update button, the object for Abhipsa will be populated just right here. And tell me how we're going to do that. All right, so right now, let's think about the puzzle. Okay, let's think about this puzzle, that how we are going to solve it. So right now, here is the question is that how we are going to track a particular student. I'm going to ask you a very simple question. So have you ever updated your flight ticket or your train ticket? Have you ever updated them? I don't know if the train ticket can be updated, but the flight ticket, have you ever rescheduled? Okay, have you ever updated your PAN card, your Aadhaar card? Have you ever updated your voter information, voter ID information? Okay, let's say if I want to update my flight ticket, I'll call to the booking site. Okay, whoever the booking site of mine is, I'll be calling them and I will tell them that, hey, I have a flight to Bangalore or I have a flight to Delhi tomorrow. Could you please update the passenger information? Then that guy, that representative will ask me, okay, sure, tell me what is your PNR number. Then once I give him the PNR number, he will paste the information of mine and he is going to update it. Similarly, whenever you want to update your PAN card information, whenever you're going to fill in the government side that, hey, I want to update my PAN card information, they are going to ask you that, hey, can you please tell me your PAN card number? So that we can paste the information, your mobile number, your name, your data, so that we can see your data and can update it. Similarly, if I want to update this girl information, let's say Aarti, now how I can update her information? First of all, when she is clicking on update, I should ask Aarti that, could you please tell me your ID? So that I can look for your information inside the database and I can fetch your information and can give it to you so that you can see and update your thing, isn't it? So right now, whenever I click on update, obviously I'll go to the update method or update URL is getting hit. And obviously I'm going here. So now here, I'm basically giving back a empty student object to our student. But hold on, we should not give an empty student object. We should give the user object who clicked on the update button, isn't it? So how we will know that who clicked the update button? We will do one thing. Whenever somebody is going to click on update, okay, with this update, we will attach some information just right here. Okay, so who is basically clicking on update, we can attach that information or that ID number of that particular guy who is trying to click on update here. So the way to do it, I'm going to go to student list. basically here only I have my update link here. So I'll do what? With this URL, I'm going to add some other information. I will say, I will try to write a query parameter here, and I'll say user ID. This is going to be my query parameter name, user ID. You can write anything just right here. And the ID for that user is going to be, this. Okay. So let's say I am inside this particular for loop. Okay. This information is for a particular student. So whenever somebody is going to hit the update link, whatever the ID that he has or she has, that ID, I'm going to send it as a query parameter. You can see anything starts from the question mark, that's called a query parameter. Inside the query parameter, we should have a key value pair. Right now my key name is user ID. I can say it anything, and the value name is this. So whenever somebody is going to click on this link, so I will get his ID, that who is basically click on that particular update button. Okay, so once I get that, right here inside the controller, I can capture his ID. So right here I'll be capturing the ID, and I can look inside my database by using that ID, that particular object is really present there or not. If it is present, get her information or get his information so that we can update it. So a nice thing to do here, I can go to here, I can do Command S right now. That's it. I'll do Command S. Now I'll go here, I'll do a refresh. Now if I am going to click here, see what is going to happen. Right now here, obviously I'm navigating to update page, but look at the user ID. User ID is 1. Okay, what about Abhipsa? If I click on Abhipsa, click on update, the user ID for Abhipsa is 6. So if we'll go to my database, where is my database? If we'll go to my database, and if you're going to look inside the table, so Abhipsa ID is 6, isn't it? So now let's say you are going back and you are clicking on Sudhir record update. See, Sudhir ID is 4. So if you go to the database and you look for the ID of Sudhir is 4. Right? So right now, whenever we are clicking the link, we will be generating a new ID. Look at here. Look at this particular position. If I click on update, so look at that. Look at the link. Update student, then user ID 1, user ID 2, user ID 3. Are you seeing here? Just look at here. Update user ID 3. For Sudhir, it is 4. For Happy, it is 5. For Abhipsa, it is 6. So whenever it clicks that, whenever somebody clicks this link, we get this user ID captured. Now handle it. Now handle this user ID and look for that user ID inside your database and look that whether that particular object is present. Any object is present or any row is present inside your database or any record is present inside your database having the user ID 6. If he has, then get that information and populate that to the user so that he can modify his information. That's what we are going to do right now. All right, so right now, let's do one thing. Whenever basically we are clicking any of the user, their ID is attached with the URL. So let's go ahead and try and capture this particular ID. All right. So how we're going to do that? How we're going to capture this particular ID from the parameter. Okay. This is my query parameter. How we're going to capture this particular ID. Okay. I just want to know that. So to show you here, to show you this thing, I'll go to this particular student controller. Right here, obviously, with this particular URL, there is some parameter attached. And obviously, I can use a request parameter or request param to capture that. So I'll say request param. And what is going to be the param name? The param name is, let me go there and capture the param name. This is the param name. Copy that. Come back to your controller. This is going to be my param name, and I want to store it with a value of int because obviously that's an integer. The 1 or 2 or 3. This is basically going to be an integer. I want to store this with this ID. Okay, so I am going to write a simple sysout. So let me say looking data for the student having ID and this ID I'm going to concatenate just right here. Okay, now let's test this out. Are we able to capture the ID just right here? If we are able to capture the ID, then obviously we can go to the database and we can look for that particular ID and we can paste the record for that particular object. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see that if we can do that. Okay, so I'll come here, I'll do refresh. Let's say I'm going to click on update of Abhilash. So it is saying, hey, looking data for the student having ID is 1. So if right now this particular guy Happy want to update his record, he clicks on update and is saying looking the data for the student having the ID 5. So it's pretty good. So right now inside my controller, I know who is the student for whom I need to find the object for. So I need to do one thing right now. Inside my DAO, I should be create a helper method where I can pass in an ID, and that method is going to return me the object for that particular student. Let's say right now, the student who is having 5, he wants to update his information. So we need to go to the database and we need to look for the object 5, and this is the object 5, 5 Happy mobile and country. This is the object that we need to capture. Okay, so right here we can look here. Right here we can just have some DAO call, we can have some DB call, and the DB will find us the object for the ID 5 so that we can get it, and we can send that object to our student page so that they can see the value for the ID 5. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing that I'll be doing here, I will be first of all, let me go to the DAO. Where is that DAO method? DAO. So right here, first of all, let me create a method. The method will be get student. So we need to pass in an ID, int ID, and this should give us a student object. Okay, so we will build this particular method called get student. We are going to say, okay, this is the ID, please get us the student, and it is going to give us back a student object. That's what we are going to do just right now. So I will do one thing. I'll do control save here. Let me stop my server for a moment, and I will go to my IMPL of student DAO. So I can do control click on open implementation, and right here, this is obviously giving me an error. I need to add the unimplemented method, and there you go. So let me add the unimplemented method for get student. So let me zoom this in, and let me do one work. Let me give some white space, and for this method, let me give an implementation. So basically, I need to do what? I need to do JDBC template. Okay, I do have my JDBC template object just right here inside my DAO IMPL. I'll say JDBC template dot query, and query is going to basically give me a result set, but I need to query for object. I need to query for on a specific object, and I'm going to use this one. Okay, maybe this method I'll be using. I need to use this method. SQL, row mapper, and object arcs. I'll be using this one. I'll be telling you why. So first of all, let me write the SQL. The SQL is going to be string SQL is equal to select, let me make it caps, select star from students, okay, where ID is equal to something. Okay, so right now here, this ID which is going to be something, that ID is going to be this, whatever the user is going to be passing. Who is the user who is basically going to click on that update button, that is going to be this ID. So I'm going to say here ID here in the argument. Okay, and this is going to need a row mapper, because obviously it is going to fetch me one record from the database. It is going to, let's say it is going to fetching this record, then I need to extract the data from this, and I need to map it with a student object, with a student class object. And to do that, I'll be using my row mapper, which is going to be new student row mapper. And there you go. Okay, that's it. So right now, if I'll go to this row mapper is going to do what? It is going to map the row. Whatever the result set I'll be getting, the result set is exactly going to be the query that I'll be running. Let's say I'll be doing select start from student where ID is equal to 1, then it is going to get me this particular record. So it is going to extract this record. This result set will be that record, and here ID will be 1 and name will be Abhilash, and obviously mobile number is going to be something, and country is going to be India, right? So this record will be returned to which method? To this query for object method. So right now this query for object is going to give me back the student object. So I'll say student, and there you go. I am done. So right now this is how simple it is that I'll be preparing my SQL query, and I am doing query for object. I'm passing in this SQL, and this SQL, the where clause, the value is going to be whatever the ID that I'll be passing from my controller, that is going to be my ID. Remember that in my controller, I'm capturing the user ID. It is going to be that ID. I'll be calling this particular method from there. So right now, once I get a result back, this guy is going to map that result with my student object, and it is going to return me that student object, and this student object I can simply return just right here. And there we go. We are done. Okay, so my get student method is ready. All right. All right, so right now my get student method is ready. My DAO helper method is going to be work. It seems, I feel that it is going to work. So right now, let me do some basic work done. So right now, this is my DAO method, isn't it? I'm inside my DAO class. Well, looks like there are some unnecessary imports. You can just remove that by hitting Control-Shift-O. So right now, you can do Control-S to save it. I will go back to the service class right now. Where is my service? Here is my service. Let me go back. And here I need to create one more method right now. And this is going to be get student, and obviously here I'll be passing in a student object, so I'll say student. All right, and it is going to give me back a student object as well, right? The same method I'm writing here. You can write any method name, but I'm going with the same name as my DAO method name. Okay, so right now inside my student service implementation, obviously I should get an error. Let me override the unimplemented method. Let me zoom this in. Let me go to down, and right here let me try to call that DAO method. If you remember, in my service right now I have the DAO dependency, so I can use that, and I can directly say here student DAO dot get student, and whatever okay, so I have written student. Oh, I'm sorry, I just need to go to my service. Where is that? Here. I don't need to write student. I will be passing an ID, where from I'll get the student object. You will give me the student object. I will pass in the ID, okay? And you will give me back this particular student object. I'm sorry. Command S. Let me delete this particular method. Let me Control S. Let me go up again, and let me override the unimplemented method. Right now, it will give me the correct method. So here, I want to do what? I want to call that student DAO dot get student, and I'll pass in this ID. Okay, so right now where it is going to get the ID? This is going to get the ID because we'll be calling this particular method from the controller. We'll be calling this method, this service method called get student from the controller. So I'll go to the controller. Here is it, and right here I'll be doing what? I'll do the service dependency is here. Do you remember? Student service is here inside our controller. So I will just use this service. So I'll go back, and I will say here inside this update student, I'll say student service dot get student, and whatever the ID I'm capturing here, this ID I am going to pass in just right here, and there you go. I'll do a semicolon. This is going to get me a student object. So I'll do command 1 and I will assign it to a local variable, and I'll say student. No, okay, student one student object is already here, isn't it? So that's why it is saying student 2. I cannot make a student, it is going to give me an error. So I'll say my student, okay, or something just like, or I'll say the student. Okay, so this is right now going to get me that particular student. If you don't believe me, you can just try to print out the student object right here, and you'll be seeing the data for that particular object right now. So right now what we have done, one more time, right now I'm here in my controller. So in my controller, I have this method called update student. This is making a service call right now, which is get student. If I'll do a open implementation, I'll go to the service class. If I'll hover over here, this is my service IMPL. As you can see in my service class, what I'm trying to do, I'm doing a DAO call. So here I'm doing a open implementation again. It is going to get me to the DAO method, and this is my DAO class. This is my DAO IMPL class. Now here actually I'm trying to get the student. Okay, the actual work is getting done just right here. Okay, so I'm just coming layer by layer, one layer after another, and I'm reaching here inside my DAO layer. Okay, perfect. So this looks good. So right now what I can do, whenever I'm basically going to hit this method right now, I'm just trying to log the student. Let's see whether I'm able to log the student or not. If I'll be able to log the student, I'll be sending this particular student to this particular page. Okay, let's try to do that. So right now, what I'm gonna do here, I will go to the browser. I'll go back, I'll do a refresh, but it won't work because my server is stopped. Let me start my server first. Let me save everything. Let me start my server, and we will see something just right here. So my server is started. Right now, let's do a refresh. Let me get my console to here. Let me go to my console, have a look on the console. If I click on update, well, looking for the update, looking for the student having ID 1, and this is his data. Okay, if I will go back, if I will click on Aarti, okay, looking for the student having ID 2, and this is her data. Go back and click on this number 5 element. Well, looking for the student having 5, the ID having 5, and this is the data of the guy who is having the number 5 ID. That's it. Okay, we are almost done. Right now we just have to send this particular data that we are trying to fetch by doing a service call. This data we need to send it to our student by using a model. Alright, so right now we are almost done. We just need to show the data just right here. We already know in our controller right here we are having the data. That's how we are proving it. We have the data just right here. So now what we are going to do, so this is the object, this is our model attribute, which is going to be available as a name called student inside our JSP page, which is called add student. If I'll do command shift R and open this particular page, it is going to be available just right here, and the name, the mobile, and the country is going to get the data from this guy. Right now, obviously, there is nothing there with this particular guy. So this particular object is empty, right? This is just a normal student object we are sending to here. So right now with this object, I want to attach the ID, name, and the mobile number. I want to update the information of this particular student object by fetching it from the student, because this is the actual student object. I want to make it available just right here. So I can do what with this student object, student. So I'll do what? I'll do student dot set ID or I can say set ID. The ID is whatever this particular student is going to have. I will say the student dot get ID, and similarly student dot set name, and this is going to be the student dot get name, and a student dot set mobile, and I'll say the student dot get mobile, and here I'll say student dot set what else is remaining, set country. I'll say the student dot get country. So all this information I have set to my student object, which is this one, which is actually going to my JSP page. With this, I have set all the information by fetching it from this guy, the student. Okay, so right now let me do Control S. Let me wait till my server reload the changes, and you will see right now with this student object, right now we are setting all the information by fetching it from the database. So right here basically we are setting the student information. Okay, so right now you'll be seeing that whenever my page will be load, whenever my our student page will be load, obviously this particular student does have the properties available right here. It has value available for its properties. So this path will read the name, it is going to read the mobile, it is going to read the country from this object, and those data will be populated when the form will be loaded. Those are going to be the default data available for these properties. Let's check that out. So let me go there, let me go back, let me do a refresh. Okay, everything works fine. Let me click on Aarti right now, and boom, Aarti, mobile number is this, country is UK. Let me go back, let me click on happy, click on update, and there you go, happy, mobile number is this, country is India. Now I can basically change the mobile number and I can basically do a submit. We'll do that later. Let me try one more. Let me go to Abhipsa, let me click on update, and there you go, our data is available. Congrats, we are well able to do that. Right now, one more thing guys, if I will go to my controller right here, we don't have to do all this drama. We are doing a lot of drama here. So instead of saying model attribute student right now I'll be using model. Okay, so let's use model here. Let me say model, and what is that, model. Okay, I'll say model and model. So with this model, I'm not going to do all this thing. I am just directly going to say model dot add attribute, and this is going to be my add attribute, and here the name is going to be student. Make sure this is going to be student itself, because here this particular form, not this one, here this particular form is actually looking for the student object. My form is basically looking for the student object, right? Okay, so right now with this object, for this attribute I need to attach the student object. So obviously that object is going to be this guy, the student, and this guy we are getting by doing a service call just right here. So let me copy the student object and let me paste it just right here. Let me do a semicolon, and there we go, we are done. We don't have to do all those drama, getting it from somewhere, setting it to something. We don't have to do that. This should work fine, I guess. If I'll go back, refresh the page, working good, click on Abhilash, the data are pre-populated. Go back and click on Anu, the data are pre-populated. So we are directly sending the paste object to our view, because once we set this particular object as a model attribute called student inside the model, whenever it will go to this particular page, right there we are looking for that attribute called student, and obviously with this student attribute we are attaching the student, which is basically a student object. So there you go, so we don't need to do anything else. Right now our job is done. Okay, we are showing a update page with pre-populated data. That's what we have wanted. We are done. Already. So right now, before I stop making video for today, I just want to test this functionality, this update functionality, whether it is working or not. Okay. Right now, what I'm going to do here, let's say I'll do a refresh. I want to update this particular record called happy. I want to click on update. Okay. So here I got happy's record. I want to update his name to Happy Singh, and let me change the country to US, and I'll do submit, and I'm expecting that once I do submit, I should be having Happy's record updated. Let's click on submit. Oh, what? What the heck is this? It is right now creating a new record. I don't want that. I want to create, or I want to update this record. I don't want to create a record. I want to update the existing record. Okay, maybe something is happening, something fishy is happening. Let me try with another one. Let me click on Sudhir. Let me change his name to Sudhir updated. Let me click on submit, and boom, we have another record created with the updated record. But what we actually want is we have to update this existing record. It is not updating the existing record, but however, it is creating a new record with the updated data. Let's say for Aarti, if I'm going to say Aarti Singh here, okay, what I expect that it should update Aarti's record, but no, it has not updated it. Rather, it has created one more record here. Okay, so you can see that we are in serious trouble here. So we don't want to create duplicate data. We want to update a particular record, and why it is happening. Okay, and it is saying here one record updated. No, it should not say one record updated, because obviously when I click on update, when I click on submit, so obviously where it should go when I do a submit, obviously you should go to our student page, and the our student page will go to the SAP student, and inside the SAP student, where is the SAP student? SAP student, where here we are doing SAP student. If I'll go to the implementation, it is going to go to the service layer, and right here we are saving the student, and we are doing a DAO call. Go to here, and right here we have written one record updated. We should have written one record inserted, and that's why only it is saying one record updated. Don't think some magic is happening. Okay, so right now let me save everything, and this time you are going to see it is going to say in the console that one record inserted. So we don't want to insert a record again and again, just like here. If I'll do a refresh, and if I will go to Abhilash, and if I'm going to say this Abhilash Panigrahi, if I'll do submit, it is not updating this one. It is creating a new record. So it is inserting one record to Abhilash for Abhilash. It is not updating it. So how to fix this? So I'll be fixing this issue tomorrow. I have a little tight schedule just right now. Anyhow, I'm talking throughout the day. So it is Sunday 9:36 p.m. So in weekend, I do not have any live batch. I do not have any client call. I had couple of client call in Saturday, and I have couple of client call right now. But in between last 24 hours, I did not have any client call in weekend. Basically, I do freelancing. I do take my client calls in weekend because I love that, because I do have some free time in weekend. But this 24 hour, I think I have utilized it. And I have kind of produced a lot of contents for you so that I can share those contents with you guys. But anyhow, more than 24 hours I'm talking. Maybe for next 2 hours I'll be talking as well, because I have a couple of meetings scheduled. So let me go and join that. And tomorrow morning I will come back again, and I'll try to fix this issue so that whenever we'll try to update, it won't create a new record. Rather, it is going to update this record, or the record which actually you want to update. I will fix this issue tomorrow, but who is stopping you to try? If you are getting a chance, try this right now. Do not watch the next video. Obviously, this is not a live course. You can see the next video right now only. What I suggest you, think about it. Why it is happening? Debug it. Try to find out a solution and just let me know about your solution. And obviously, I'll be happy to see your solution as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much. I hope I'm not boring you guys. Actually, I'm pretty tired. I'm not feeling tired. I can talk. Last 24 hours I'm talking, but still I can talk. I think in between also I have attended 2 meetings. Yes, morning also I have attended 2 meetings. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'm talking for I just slept yesterday around 5 hours and I have attended 4 meetings and all these contents I have produced for you between last 24 hours. Oh, kind of an achievement. So let's see, right? Whether you guys are going to like it or you're going to dislike it. Either you're going to say, hey Vilash, good job, I can understand. Or you're going to say, hey Vilash, better luck next time. This content are not good. I'm waiting for your response. Just let me know in the comment section. Like my videos if you are liking it, dislike if you are not liking it, and subscribe to my channel for sure if you appreciate my work. And just let me know whether you are liking it or not liking it, because I'm wasting a lot of my time, energy, just to give you the content that you are demanding, and the content I know that it is going to help you in your future. So just let me know whether it is helping or not. This is going to be for a creator, this is the most beautiful thing. If you're going to let the creator know that whether the contents that he is producing is good or not, okay? So yeah, please let me know about it. Subscribe if you're like, dislike, do whatever you want to do, but give me a response, okay? Give some response. Maybe it is a bad response or good response. That doesn't matter, but let me know. All right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. And till then, bye-bye. Take care. Happy coding. And good day if you are watching it in a day. Good night if you are watching it in your night. And good morning if you are watching it in the morning. See you next time. Bye-bye.